the ostriches made the news today. That's fine this week, and it's an unfortunate story. But what I wanted to talk about that was the people who covered it. Right, the mainstream didn't cover it, but thankfully we have guys like Rebel News, and we have Drea, and we had Chris, right? Chris Dacey from what's he calling the line?
Daisy Media. It's Daisy
Dacey Media, right?
Media.
I'm not
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
right.
doxing him by saying Chris, but
No, no.
he is so over the target. So over the target. Did you see what the RCMP did to him?
Well, just a little background for people who don't know
Sure.
the story to get into it. So there was the slaughter of the ostriches, and it's absolutely horrendous what
It's
went
horrible.
down. It's horrible, and like some people want to attribute malice. There's a possibility that that's a thing, the malicious side of things, and then there's a possibility that this was just many people probably have read the what's the old novel, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The bad guys in that. Is it Douglas Murray or the guy who wrote the Hitchhiker's Guide? Clever guy. He would write in a lot of like contemporary science into his science fiction, and he makes the evil bad guys grow. They evolved from a planet where there's another creature on the planet that can sense free thought. And if you have a free thought, it jumps up and smacks you in the face.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they learned to evolve without ever making their own decisions and just always pass the buck. And they became bureaucrats because of it, right? And what happened here is a lot of this, and it's reminiscent of the COVID era crap. It's a protocol. We just have to go through with it. There's a protocol, and in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they're taking out Earth because it's in the way of an intergalactic highway, right? It's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. Now, there's so much benefit to having these birds because they caught H1N1 or the bird flu or whichever H1 that was, because they could have had it would have been the way to get all the wild birds to be immunized to this. It's crazy.
There was something nefarious. I mean, I do think there was big pharma behind the scene wanted the birds dead, and there's other complicated things. I mean, there's even Americans who wanted to buy the birds, but at the end of the day, resistance against the government is futile in this country. Don't question the rules. You have no legal recourse. The full force of the government and the courts were used against these farmers. And in the middle of the night, the birds were killed. Like, how traumatic was that, right? Like, Chris, who was on site, says there was 800 shots fired in the middle of the night.
Why the middle of the night, though? Like, if you don't want to come across as being nefarious,
Yeah.
doing things in the wrong light, you put up barriers so that people can't see. So they get drones, they get overhead. They take out the internet because they were broadcasting footage. They were chopping down and damaging their property because they had surveillance cameras. And all of this stuff.
The property's a mess. Not just their property. They commandeered properties next door to them. Like, basically knocked on people's houses saying, sorry, you're being kicked out. We're taking over your house because we need it to control this perimeter. Like, it was
well, it's awful. It's awful. It's draconian. It's going way beyond the realm of, sorry, I just have a job to do, and just going in and doing a job. Like, they went out of their way to hide the way they went about doing it, not instead of, if you want to just say it's an evil or it's an awful thing and we got to do it, and sorry, do it out in the public, do it out in the open, do it where everybody can see it. Do it in the middle of the night with night vision goggles and all this other stuff. Is just why? What is the purpose of that?
Yeah, it's horrible. So then the event occurred, and Chris and other journalists are there. And you said, right? So both sides are trying to do their job. So Chris is trying to do his job, and there is a huge RCMP presence there. And then the RCMP has what are called these PLT, Public Liaison Team or whatever, right? So these are the RCMP. Their job, those people are the liaison. They're supposed to try and calm the situation, make sure things don't escalate, and blah, blah, blah. And I swear to God, the worst person in the group, Chris has a video of him interacting with this public liaison officer, and she was antagonizing the crap out of him. No, which
it's not
led
this
to
one.
this. It's not that one. It's the one of I don't know if you want to play it, but you'd have to find Chris. You'd have to find Daisy, search Daisy and PLT, the public liaison officer. I mean,
Yeah, I probably won't find that in time, but
your blood would boil. Okay, Clyde, your blood would boil to watch this lady interacting with Chris. And Chris kept his composure, and he kept saying, like, "Get out of my face, go away. You're literally not helping." Anyways, he thought the events were over, and then things were calmed down, and the next day or the next evening he had this encounter. Like, once he left the property and he was driving back to the hotel, he got pulled over by the RCMP, and these two clowns came out, and that's the interaction. They
oh, so he was actually pulled over for this. This wasn't okay.
No,
well,
he's on his way. He's on his way back to the hotel now. Like, he's had a stressful day. He had the interaction with that public liaison officer. It was ugly, and he just wants to go and have a beer with Mike, and then these two clowns show up.
Oh, let's have a listen to what he has to say here.
This is recorded live. I hope so.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to read you something.
Okay.
This is going to be a warning for section of the criminal code.
Okay.
Okay, so section 423.1 sub 1. No person shall, without lawful authority, engage in any conduct with the intent to provoke a state of fear in a justice system participant or military justice system participant in order to impede him or her in the performance of his or her duties. Okay.
Okay. So can you what do you mean by a justice system participant?
So that'd be anybody that's a peace officer.
Okay. So does that law apply to you as well? Because people have been doing that to everyone here, including myself.
I'm not going to speak to that.
Who can speak to that?
Well, he's not going to speak to that. Why? Because let me show you, Marty. This is great. So he went back to his hotel room and he looked up the criminal code. And what is it? So section A is what they were saying. They're reading out in that criminal code. Well, there's a B and a C. And number C and letter C is a journalist in order to impede him or her in their transmission of the public information in relation to a criminal organization. This is unbelievable. They came and tried to use the law that to protect themselves that also protects Daisy.
They cherry picked the law. They were cherry picking, only picking. No, it's and then the memes and all the jokes started appearing because basically these officers they're unhappy. The RCMP is unhappy right now because they had a shit show on their hands, and then there's been light shone on them, and they look like clowns, and they look like brown coats, and they look like bootlickers, and they don't like it. And so then they sent these guys to go and try and give a warning to Chris, and in doing so, they look even worse. I mean, the RCMP is like, stop digging, boys. Like, just stop digging at this point because you're not helping your situation.
No, and then they go to the media and they're crying. They're saying CFIA employees face harassment and death threats after BC Ostrich Cull. They have they're trying to make headlines with this one. Kelowna CFIA office vandalized with feces following the Ostrich Cull. I mean, this is what's happening. And then they go even further, Marty. Why the conspiratorial right rallied around a flock of ostriches. Give us a freaking break. This is crazy. This is it. It's a situation where, okay, I get it. You say that these are the rules, and we have to abide by the rules, and the rules say this, and blah blah blah. Well, what's our recourse? What's our recourse with this one? We have to go to these agencies and say, listen, you got to make exceptions for cases like this. Where can we go with that? The agency says, we're not allowed to make exceptions. That's out of our hands. It's not our responsibility. So they pass the buck. The judiciary says we're not
even adjudicating on this one. We're not.
It's not our responsibility. We're just going by the law. You want to talk about what's in the law? Talk to the political class. So you go and talk to the political class, and what do they say? This is just another case of a horrible thing that the Liberals have done.
I mean,
let's do something about it. Introduce something to alleviate this problem. Let's stop passing the buck and let's actually start looking at where we can make changes. And if we're not willing to make changes, come out and say so, please. Just come out and say you're not willing to make any changes. And I mean, I mean at the, you know, the bureaucratic level, I mean at the judiciary level, and I mean at the political level. If you're not interested in making changes, just come out and say it and tell everybody.
Pierre didn't speak out on it. Carney didn't speak out on it or for it. The only person that spoke on it was who's our chief attorney. What's the title that we use in this country? Our minister of
Justice Minister.
Justice Minister Miller, or not Mark Miller. What's the other? Anyways, he got cornered and he basically said, "Well, yeah, it is what it is. The rules were followed." It's like, God, it's. Anyways, we haven't heard the end of this. I basically, you know, I wanted to shout out to Chris and his buddy Mike Rudd, who's a retired officer or soldier from the Airborne and the Princess Pats, and this was so important that they both had commitments to you know, they were supposed to be somewhere else for yesterday for November 11th for Remembrance Day, and they both decided to stay with the story of the ostriches. That's how important that was. So you know, thankfully, which is a long story that you and I always started out saying, we're the new media. We're the new media. Like, you're not gonna, the people who listen to us, you guys know this. Thank you for following us and interacting with us. And we're providing you stories or sometimes context that you will not get from the mainstream media. You're just not going to.
And if you want to let more people know that, go on over to the store. We've got a new shirt. It's the We Are the Media Now shirt. Get yourself one of those. Let people know. Go to the rallies. Go to these places. Go to these events. Go to these sit-ins, whatever it happens to be. Go to the political events and things like that, wearing this shirt, telling people we are the media. Make sure you're recording this stuff. Make sure you get out there, because the more recordings possible, the better. The more angles. Like, if you see other people recording and you're like, oh, I don't need to, he's recording. No. More angles and get that stuff out there. This is the way to spread the word of what's actually happening out on the street. They're not going to, media's not coming for you. They're not, no, they don't, and the political class don't have your back either. None of them. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more clips like that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. The link is right here. If you want to see it live as it happens, make sure you subscribe to the Clyde Do Something YouTube channel. The link is right there. We'll see you in the next one.